What is going on, party people? It is I, Fumencho. Joining me today is PhenomSage. How's it going, my boy?
Hi, it's good. It's 2 in the morning.
Yeah, it's 2 in the morning, and today I just decided to have a little discussion on a little series. It's kind of underrated. No one really ever talks about it. It's kind of like a smaller indie anime series that you have just watched for the first time, and I have watched for the first time in almost a decade. So, yeah, this is Fooly Cooly Revisited. So
don't say it like a weeb.
All right, so
say it Fooly Cooly.
All right, so it's time to talk about Fooly Cooly, and yeah, you watched this series for the first time.
Yeah.
What are your overall impressions? I mean, not a lot of anime fans can say that they watched it for the first time. That's a rare. I feel like this is like a pretty go-to series for a lot of weebs out there, and it's high up there. I mean, it's a staple in animation, and just I feel like it embodies the culture of anime very well. And if you're an anime fan and you love anime and manga and you just love Japanese culture, please, for the love of God, watch this show. This show is meant for you. But what are your thoughts?
Although it's funny that you say that, because this show doesn't feel like an anime. It doesn't feel Japanese inspired. It almost feels like this is more aimed at a Western audience.
It definitely. I feel like it's inspired by a lot of Western things, but it really capitalizes on just the weirdness of Japan and what I've seen in other anime series, but just multiply it tenfold, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, what are your overall thoughts on FLCL, the first season, the first 6 episodes? Well, let's not go crazy with spoilers. I mean, we might have some spoilers in here. We'll give little warnings if we are, but this is a 15-year-old, 14-year-old series now, so I don't think anyone cares.
It doesn't matter. I'm not going to go out of my way to spoil things, but overall impressions are very, very positive. I always heard good things about this, and every so often I would just catch a glimpse of a cut or a GIF GIF.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, you're gonna get grilled. I'm sorry, drilled in those comments.
Of just a random cut from the show, and I just noticed every time just how crazy the Sakuga was, and I always was saying damn, I really need to watch that.
Yeah.
And then you told me that it was one of your favorite series. So I was like, you know what, I'll just hold out, wait to watch it with you. We finally watched it, and I can say that there's a lot more going for it than what I'm about to say, but just overall, just one of the most technically just well-animated, consistent series I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Period.
I
feel like I haven't heard that ever for the series.
Yeah, I feel like
I've heard it has good animation, but I've never heard somebody say this is one of the most well-animated series I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and it is for me. I can say that.
Yeah, I mean, I agree, but I think there's a few other aspects to the series that a lot of people fail to mention when recommending the series. Yeah. There's so much, as you mentioned, there's so much more to the series that kind of makes it special.
That's it's one of its greatest appeals to me, because I'm a big fan of animation.
Yeah, of course. Gainax, of course, but always putting it in.
The first thing I told you after we finished was that it's just the way it communicates a coming of age story is just so much better than its contemporaries. It does it better and more in a more unique manner than a lesser series would do it.
Yeah, and it
almost disguises itself as not a coming of age story, but it totally is.
It's about growing up. It totally, and one of my favorite jokes in the series is Haruko mentions he asks, "Who are you?" and she says, "I'm a manifestation. I'm a metaphor for growing up and becoming an adult and taking responsibility." And you kind of think about it for a little bit, She kind of is in a way.
I completely thought she was being serious there because it totally fits with the theme of the series.
It really does. Like I really like that joke because I feel like it's almost like it's like the writers of the series like.
I feel like that was like an end joke towards the series itself.
Yeah. Let's talk about some of the overall like pop culture references in this series. I feel like this series does pop culture references more so than any series. Mostly Western pop culture references too. Like, I mean, there's a fully animated South Park scene.
Yeah.
In this series, like, it looks like Trey Parker and what's the other guy?
Matt Stone.
And Matt Stone literally just like made that part. Like, it literally just like it looks like that. And
I wonder if they've seen it. I'd like to hear their thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hilarious scene. He's like at the beauty parlor or whatever, and he's like getting his hair done or something. But yeah, like that was crazy. And then like, of course, there's the huge like Lupin the Third scene. I mean, there's
classic.
Yeah, seriously classic. And then there's also just lots of other Western Western pop culture references sprinkled in throughout the series. Mentioning on like music, I know like Hanako, she's like always talking about like how like there's all these different bands. She'll mention like Jimi Hendrix or something like that. There's like the students in class, they'll mention certain things about like certain American pop culture stuff.
Yeah. No, I get you.
And I feel like it makes the series feel like it's in a real world. Because I feel like that's what people do. We make references to things all the time. We talk about things like that in school. And
I don't know if I'd say it makes it feel like it's in a real world, but I think it makes the script more endearing.
It makes it more endearing. It makes it feel more relatable. Where you're like, oh yeah, he's right. Like that is really cool. And I like that. Like, I feel like it just makes it more lively and more full, I guess.
Especially when they take on like the visual aspects of what they're referencing too.
Oh yeah, and again, I've never seen the series do that since then. I mean, yeah. I'm sure there might be one out there. I feel like there has to be, but I haven't seen it. And, yeah, I mean, if you have in the comments, please put it down there. I'm very curious because I'd love to see another anime series make references like that and visual references and jokes and stuff like that call back to not only Western culture but just pop culture in general. So yeah, I think one of my favorite parts about this series, I mean I've mentioned this in a multitude of videos.
I know where you're going with this.
The Pillows being one of my favorite, not my favorite J-rock band of all time, one of my favorite bands, period, of all time. I'm not even joking. Definitely, probably in my top 5 favorite rock bands of all time. I think they're highly underrated, not just in the anime culture, but just in music in general.
I think anybody who denies that their soundtrack just didn't elevate some of these scenes, like basically the entire show, but like just specifically, like very specific scenes, just are lying to themselves at that point. Their OST is just the bow on top of this present.
It really is. It's just the song choice in the way it almost feels like you're watching an AMV in some scenes.
It really does.
How like the music and the visuals just line up perfectly. One of my favorite parts that's early on is when Mamimi, she's there with Kanti on top of that rooftop and he starts flying up, and then the music goes into the chorus as he kind of jumps up and starts floating into the sky, and she's like Lord Kanti or whatever. Like that was outstanding, and it's something I didn't appreciate watching it for the first time as a young lad. So
no spoilers. Or in episode 5 when Takun basically turns into a man and the Pillows just kicks in when he gets I can't spoil it.
But I know what you mean. I totally I feel like anyone watching would know what you mean when he really steps up to the plate and delivers.
It up so perfectly.
Yeah, that's actually my favorite. That's one of my favorite scenes in the entire show.
Like, mine too.
I absolutely
love
it.
It's not my favorite.
Yeah. How did you feel about how the story progressed? Did you like how it was structured and how it doesn't?
I told you that like after we finished that my only complaint was that I felt like the series was too out there at times. Like sometimes it wasn't grounded enough for my liking. And I would say that once we got into the last 3 episodes is when I felt like the plot was good, like just really solidly built.
Yeah.
It was grounded while still being crazy enough.
I feel like once when they introduced the eyebrows guy,
Yeah,
and then you start realizing like who Haruko is and what Adamus is and what's going on there, and then like
just the character drama, like learning you learn about Nina Mori's backstory, you learn about what Takun's dealing with Mamimi, and then the finale. Like I felt like those were the shining moments of the series because it just effortlessly blended that character drama and grounded story within all this crazy wacky shit.
Yeah.
The first 3 episodes, I still really enjoyed them, but I felt like there wasn't really a structure to them.
They were definitely more comedy driven for sure.
Yeah. Well, not just comedy driven, but it felt like they were just going with the flow. Like they were going wherever. There wasn't really a purpose to them.
Yeah. One of my favorite, and you mentioned how like it got a little more dramatic towards the end. One of my favorite parts about this series is how it, in a way, even though it is really silly and out there are moments in this series that feel more grounded than a slice of life drama that I've seen, that deal with more personable issues, more relatable issues.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, like one of my favorite scenes in the entire show is the relation. I mean, not a scene specifically, but aspects. Yeah, is the relationship between Mamimi and Naota, and how. I mean, like, oh my gosh, like, again, I don't want to get super into spoilers, but there's a point in this series where, like, she kind of has feelings for him, and he kind of ignores her throughout the series, and then there's a point where he, like, just asks her, like, I thought you liked me, like, why don't you like me anymore, like, I'm the one you like, remember, and, like, I feel like I'm, like, it's relatable to me.
It was I was about to say,
like,
very
it feels
relatable.
Like, it made me, like, feel, it was a little gut-wrenching, I'm not gonna lie, like, I was like, oh my god, like, you kind of cringe a little bit just how much it hurts. Like you kind of feel it. Like it's such a realistic, and it being told through like a child, a middle schooler, an elementary school kid.
Yeah, elementary.
Being told through like what is he like?
Although
in 4th grade?
no, he's 12. He's
yeah,
12.
yeah, but still like
he's basically in middle school.
He's a kid, and the story being, this is very adult storytelling, and it being told through a child is again just really. Adds more to the idea of the show being a coming of age type of story.
Definitely.
And it's again my favorite part is just that because it's so poisonous how she loved his brother and how she's clinging onto him because she loved his brother and how he kind of just lets it happen because he's in a way lonely and he doesn't have like connections like that. And then how he ignores her when Haruko enters his life, and how he like thinks that Haruko's the cool one, like that's who I'm supposed to be hanging out with because that's cool. And then you even see like Mamimi just like in the background of some scenes when he's hanging out with Haruko, and she's just there like by herself alone, and you like.
Well, but I liked that almost every single scene where she's like in the background, not really doing anything. She's not. It's not like they're trying to garner sympathy for her. It's not like she's there sulking. In fact, a lot of scenes that she's there in the background, there are comedy moments. Like she's there, like just acting wacky and shit.
Yeah, totally.
And that's why that actually kind of makes it hurt even more.
Yeah, because I mean that's the thing. Like this show, it's not a drama. It's not like telling you like, look how much Naota's hurting inside. Look how much Mamimi's hurting. That it's not a slice of life. If it was, it would be doing that. It would show you and try to
think this
garner
is more
sympathy.
effective.
It is. It's more effective because it feels more realistic looking into a story like this. Because like when I'm depressed, when I am sad, I don't cry all the time. I'm not gonna like wallow in despair. Like I try to put a smile on, and it's realistic in that way. How we just keep moving on. And bad stuff keeps happening, or life keeps happening, I guess.
Yeah.
And you have to just kind of deal with it. And I feel like that's what Naota does throughout the series. And I love his monologue too, how he was just like, yeah, like I'm going through this. Nothing ever out of the ordinary happens in this town, but yet something out of the ordinary is very much happening in the town.
Yeah.
And even one of the most heartbreaking points in the series is when I think it's episode 2 or 3. When he first enters Kanti or whatever, when he like uses his Kanti form, And he says that at the end of the monologue that I will never leave my Mimi. I'm gonna stick by her forever. And then,
wow.
you know, I mean, eventually how the series ends. I'm not gonna go into detail, but stuff happens, and then you realize that promise was pretty much broken, and that also hurts. Like, that's something that also someone of youth would do.
I didn't even think about that until you brought it up. That does hurt.
It does, because I mean, again, it's relatable because that's what you do in your youth. You make these promises
that you can't keep.
And you think that you're going to be there for somebody. You think you're going to be a part of that person's life forever, but you're young, and sometimes those connections just don't last. And I feel like this show really capitalized on that, because even like Haruko, spoiler alert. I mean, this is already, I feel like, spoiled for anyone that's in the anime community. Haruko leaves Earth. She's gone. Like, that's it. And he's there, and he even mentions, like, Haruko, she never returned. I haven't heard from her. My Mimi left town. I'm just here now. Like, that's it. Those connections, the main point of the series,
he would eventually go on to date Minamori, best girl.
Yeah, I feel like they kind of put that in. They kind of inserted that at the end, but still, like, those connections are gone, and life still moves on. And I like that. I really do. I feel like that I've been through that. I feel like almost every human being has been through something like that.
It's hard not to relate to that.
Yeah, so I definitely like that. And the pillows. I mean, come on. I mean, the pillows are amazing. I mean, there's so many great songs in this crazy sunshine. You got the hybrid rainbow greatness. You got that ride on shooting star greatness. Another one of my favorite parts? I guess we'll talk a little. We got a little deep there. But another technical side of things is how the intro of the series works, and how there's no opening. There's just like a title card, and it's like then the episode starts. I feel like that was utilized very well with the soundtrack, and then with the pacing of the episode too. How it was like, oh my god, the episode's just starting. Like, I feel like I was so much into that little preview, and then it goes on to even further the story, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean It's been a long time since I've watched this series, and I've watched it. This is my third time watching it now. My first time watching it.
It feels like something that I want to rewatch.
Yeah, it's something you want to watch with people.
Gain a better appreciation.
Like,
definitely.
I would watch it with your girlfriend. Like, I mean, like, I need to watch it with my girl. Like, I feel like I need to.
Oh, she hasn't seen it?
No.
Oh.
I don't even know if she's ever like heard of it.
Oh, wow.
So, like, that is something that experiencing it through your eyes was amazing. Like, that was an awesome experience. In our friendship, I feel like we've grown closer because of that series. I mean, not only, seeing your reactions to the animation, but also, like, I remember, towards the end of the series, you were just saying, like, this hurts, Dylan. Like, this hurts. I don't like this. And how, like, Mamimi basically created the villain in the end. And, like, oh my god, like, it gets a little... unintentionally, but it definitely gets a little hard to watch, and seeing that through you and you reacting to it really matters. And I implore anyone that hasn't seen this series to watch immediately. It's something you can't miss, even if you don't end up like it's 6 episodes. It's easy to breathe.
To just reiterate, this is a 6-episode series. There is literally no reason not to watch this.
Yeah, it's on Crunchyroll. Or no, it's not on Crunchyroll. I forgot. It was on Netflix. It is on Hulu. I'm almost for certain it is.
Oh, it is on Hulu?
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
If not, just fucking go watch it on Kiss Anime.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's it for our discussion, really. I mean, I feel like we talked about every aspect of the series. I really... And the dub, too.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about the dub.
Yeah, I grew up with the English dub, so I feel like I wanted to watch it with you in English.
I enjoyed it. I like really grew to really enjoy that dub. Like, at first I was like, wait, what is this? And
I remember you actually didn't like Haruko's dub at first. You were like, what in the world? Like, I never imagined her sounding like this.
Yeah, Haruko, and like specifically just like the females, like they sounded like there's this really weird style to all of their voice acting, but especially Mamimi. But it just works. It works in the end for me. Like, I would not want it any other way.
Yeah, I love Naota's voice actor as well.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Very emotional. Very, it's really well done. So yeah, again, I think that's pretty much all we have to talk about today. If you have any fond memories of this series, watching it on Adult Swim back in the day like I did, comment down below and share your memories with me. Share those fond memories. If you just watched this series, let me know what you think about it. If you're planning on watching this series, let me know when. And if you've watched it, you know, when you watch it, come back to this video and tell me what you think of it, because I'm very curious to see how, you know, the more younger anime community and what they would think of it. And yeah, comment down below and let us know. I'd love to read through those comments. Also, PhenomSage here, my friend Matthew, he has a YouTube channel.
Oh,
he's a cool kid. You can click down to his channel down in the description below. He does some anime review stuff. What's that little indie series you're covering right now? That little small series?
I forget the name. You'll see it when you get on my channel.
Yeah, okay. He does some anime-related stuff. We do reactions to gaming-related things as well. So stay tuned for more content from the both of us. If you
specifically that Red Dead on Thursday.
Yeah, forgot about that. That's going to be hype as well. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. This was a personal video that I really just wanted to do. I was talking to Matthew last night, and I was like, hey, do you mind if we just make a video about our thoughts on this series and just like talk about it? Because like I feel like I need to, because again, this series means a lot to me, and it's getting a second season too, which I mean that's a whole nother discussion to be had, I feel like, because I have no idea what to expect from that.
I feel like we should do a discussion on the a fuller PV when it's released.
Yeah, definitely. I think we could see one before the end of the year too. I wouldn't be surprised. Definitely, like in early 2018, I think we'll see one. So yeah, look forward to more FLCL coverage on our channel. I'm sure once when it comes out, I'm definitely going to be reviewing it. I don't know about you, but it's something that I definitely plan on.
I'll be watching it. I know that.
So yeah. Anyway, again, thank you very, very much for watching as always, and until next time, we'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.